I'm not sure if you've ever had those kind of dreams where it's like very vivid. It felt so real. I was in the doctor's room and the doctor told me that, Hannah, you have breast cancer.
And then the next day, the clinic called me to say that, Samuel, your report is unfavourable.
I think it's so important to continue to have that identity that I'm a cancer survivor, because the day I forget is the day I forget the experiences and what I have learned through it, because it has shaped me as a person.
When they send me like text messages, I cried. Yeah, because I just feel that I do not want to disappoint them.
Cancer feels like something that happens to other people until it doesn't. And if you're a millennial or Gen Z, you might probably even think, nah, definitely not me. But here's the thing. According to a Time magazine report that came out in February 2025, researchers have found that young people around the world are getting many different kinds of cancer at an alarmingly high rate. Now, according to the 2022 Singapore Cancer Registry's annual report, 1 in 4 Singapore residents will develop cancer in their lifetime. Yet, we may not talk about it enough or easily enough. And what happens when cancer strikes someone younger? So today on The Usual Place, I have Hannah Seow and Samuel Ng, who are cancer survivors in their 30s. Welcome to the show, both of you. Thank you for being here with us. So I wanted to start off for the people who are watching this. Where were both of you when you heard the news that you have cancer?
So for me, I got the diagnosis that I have breast cancer. This was end of 2022. And what happened was, mine is a very interesting story, because I had a dream about half a year before. In my dream, I'm not sure if you've ever had those kind of dreams where it's like very vivid. It felt so real. I was in the doctor's room and the doctor told me that, Hannah, you have breast cancer. And then I was hysterical in my dream and I couldn't accept it. And then after I woke up with tears, and that started my journey to do self-examination, actually. So I wanted to do a mammogram. They said that, you're below 40, so I wasn't eligible for it at that point of time. So I did my own physical examination, and in November 2022, I found out I had a lump, and I went I got it checked. So I did the biopsies and everything, and then the results came out that it is breast cancer, and it had in fact spread to my lymph nodes on my right armpit. So that was between stage 2 to 3. Yeah, it was a huge shock. I had a hard time accepting this news. And I felt like my life was... Okay, so just the backstory, I actually lost my third child. I have 2 girls, and then I had a son. So I lost him. He had a special condition, trisomy 18, and then he passed away at 2 months old. So that was just less than 2 years before I was diagnosed with cancer. So when it all came together, I found it like, what is happening to my life? Like, did I do something wrong? Why is this happening to me? Why 2 major, I would say, like, calamities in my life that's happening? And I couldn't process it. So it took me a long time, probably a couple of months, before I could really accept what was going on.
Okay, so we'll get to your son and the breast cancer diagnosis, but I want to ask you, why was the dream so vivid in your mind that we have dreams, right? But why did you take that one seriously?
It felt really real, and I don't know, it felt as if like, so my faith, I'm a Christian, and I felt like God was saying something to me through that. And because it wasn't just an ordinary dream where you can just dismiss it. It's something stuck in my heart, and I felt that I needed to just check. And there was a lot of fear because the dream was so real. And I was like, no, I don't want it to happen to me. Is it going to happen to me in real life? And it did. Yes.
Okay, so we'll get into it. And I just want to hear from Samuel as well about your diagnosis. Where were you? What did the doctor say?
Okay. So for me, right, I'm diagnosed with leukemia. Yeah, so it's acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Yeah, so how was I being diagnosed, right, is that last year, January, on the 22nd of January, I still remember the date. Yeah, my mom observed me and she told me that, you don't look well. You look very white. Your lips are very pale. Yeah, so it's better to go for a checkup.
Was this like something that was brewing? Like, was it, or just that on that one day you woke up and you just looked?
Okay, actually before that, right, I do have a fever. like on and off. Yeah,
Like for a few months?
for about 1 month plus in December that time. In December 2023.
Three.
Yeah.
So you were just sick all the time for a
Yeah,
month.
sick all the time. Always have fever on and off, cold chills, cold sweats. Yeah.
And-
in December that time. Yeah. Correct.
And so now we're in January 2024, right? And
Yeah,
then you
correct.
go to a doctor and they did a couple of tests or
They did okay, so I went to the GP. Yeah, so they did a blood test, and then the next day the clinic called me to say that Samuel, your report is unfavourable.
they told you this on the phone?
Yeah, through the phone. Then they said, please come down to the clinic as soon as possible.
What do you think it was when you hear the words, it's unfavorable?
Actually, I'm being prepared, okay, that I might have cancer. Okay. The reason behind it is that because I used to have a very good friend who used to diagnose with leukemia. That was like about 12 years ago. Yeah. So when I heard about it, like about my hemoglobin is as low as 4, I know that, like I'm heading towards there. Yeah.
Okay.
Or
So
I can say the cancer is coming towards me.
oh, okay. So
Correct,
you
yeah.
kind of like knew what you were dealing with when you heard the result. They told
Correct.
you on the phone that this
Yeah.
was your result.
It's unfavorable.
Okay.
So I went down to the clinic.
Yeah.
Then the clinic said that please go to the A&E as soon as possible lah. Yeah, for further check. Yeah, so I went to Sengkang Hospital first. Then they did a check and it's still the same report, unfavorable. And then they transfer me to SGH. Yeah, for further check. Yeah. Then from there, then the next day, the doctor diagnosed that it's leukemia. Correct.
Wow, I think if I got the call and it was unfavorable, I don't think I can function. Like, how did you, go through that? Were you with your mom with you?
Okay. Apparently, if my brother is with me. Yeah, so once I got my report, I went home first. Yeah, to do my pickup, and then I told my brother because my elder brother, I only have one brother. Yeah, he's working from home. So I told him that the result is unfavorable. Then I told him that I might get cancer. Then he said, don't think so much of it because you haven't diagnosed it, right? Yeah, so you don't think about it. Don't think too much about it. So he sent me to Sengkang Hospital, yeah, for the checkup, to A&E lah, to have a blood test. Then they transfer me to SGH, yeah, for further checks.
So both of you, what was before you got your cancer diagnosis, how was your take on cancer? Like, was it like what I said? Like, you are like, nope, not me. Right?
Yeah, I think that I was thinking I'm in my 30s, like the world's my oyster. I would never ever think that I would be down with cancer. Yeah, so it came pretty much as a shock. Yeah.
And for me, I feel that cancer do attack youngster. Yeah, so I feel because based on my experience, that I used to have a friend who have leukemia in the 20s. Yeah, so I don't take things for granted like at that moment. Like such thing will happen. When you're at a young age, and doesn't really only affect when you're on the old age.
So in a way, Samuel, you were kind of, it's not about being prepared. It was more of like, you knew it could happen to you.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. But so when you now tell people that you have cancer, right? So these are the days after, right? What was the range of reactions you got? Was there like any unkind, well, I don't want to say unkind, but like maybe insensitive things that maybe people don't realize that they're being insensitive? Or what was the nicest thing people said to you?
I don't remember anything unkind. In fact, I had so many people just coming, they were like just crying. So when I tell my friends, my family, everyone's just moved. And I'm actually very touched. And the large part of what kept me going through my journey is that very strong support that I got from family and friends. It's just so amazing because people just start coming and sending me gifts. The text messages come in. And then I just felt like an outpouring of love into my life, to say, don't give up because we are here for you. Yeah, I didn't experience anything negative. Not sure about
For me, it's very positive. So when I diagnosed with it, right, it's close to Chinese New Year. Yeah, that period. Yeah, because last year Chinese, I think it's 8 Feb or 9 Feb. Yeah, so I diagnosed in the late, in the end of January. Yeah, so when I'm going through my chemotherapy, right, when the first day of Chinese New Year, all my relatives, they will go to my house because my dad is the eldest in the family. So all my uncle, aunties, my niece, my nephew, my cousin, they will come to my house for visiting. So they know about my news, and then I have video call with them, to wish them a happy Chinese New Year, etc. So the whole video call is about 3 hours. Yeah, so each of them talk to me, no, have to stay positive, don't give up, we are here for you, everything. So it's very touching, I can say. Yeah, correct.
Actually, I should have started with, how do you tell people you have cancer? Like, do you let your family members tell them, or did you decide to just send out a text message to your inner circle?
I think what happened for me is that before, it was like a step-by-step journey. So before I had to find out about my diagnosis, I had to go for a biopsy. So before that, my friends would know, my family would know. They would just share with them, please keep me in prayers. I'm going for this. And then it was like a gradual thing. So it was very natural when the results came out. Even before I could finish and type them a message, people are texting me, so how? Have you seen the doctor? What's the news?
Did that stress you out?
No, not so much. Because certain people whom I'm close to, I felt more love and concern rather than being stressed.
Because they kind of checked in.
Yes, correct. So I just took my time, and then I just crafted my message, and then I did it by text and just sent it, and everyone knew. Those whom I felt should know would have known the news that I have stage 2 to 3 breast cancer. Yeah.
Samuel?
As for me, right, I mean, my close family, they will know. Yeah, because my mom will actually let my family know about it, my relatives. And then for my friends wise, I mean, I do it progressively lah. Yeah, so those that very close with me, I will let them know. Then slowly, those that I feel that is important in my life, or those who are supposed to know, then I will inform them accordingly also. Yeah.
So during your cancer journey, I mean, I also may not be using the right words here, but you're dealing with cancer. Was there something you wish you had known about being a cancer patient, that would have helped you through the experience better? Or was it everything was new and you kind of had to take it day by day? Yeah.
To me, I feel that because like what I say, I do have friends used to have leukemia, so I already prepared, how you're going to be like. But then definitely when cancer hits someone, right, every human is different. Yeah, like how you react to the treatment is also very different. There are different type of side effects also. Yeah, so to me is that, I did a lot of research for me. Yeah, for my treatment, and then so I'm very well prepared for my treatment. Yeah, and for me is that I will just follow accordingly to what the doctors say. Yeah.
Oh, you're a very good patient.
Yeah, I am.
You didn't try to rebel.
I don't rebel. Yeah, I'm very obedient. Yeah, correct.
Did you have to stay in a hospital for overnight, or was it just going through chemo?
Okay, during the chemotherapy, I do need to be inpatient. But when after that 2 cycle of chemotherapy, I went for this immunotherapy. So for immunotherapy, it's a outpatient therapy. Yeah, correct. So basically, it's also it's through a device, and there's the medicine will be in the device, and then they will go through this PICC where they can input the medicine the drip. Yeah, correct. So every 2 to 3 days, I need to go to the NCCS to change the device. Yeah. So to me, so if you ask me in and out of hospital how many times, I can say about 6 to 7 times within that 9 months. Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Hannah, what about you? Was there something you wish you had known about being a cancer patient that might have helped you through better?
I think not, because when I went through it, I realized that every day is a new journey of discovering what cancer is about. Facing the side effects is so different. I hear stories from another person, but when I experience it, I experience something different. For me, one of my struggles was, how do I reframe what cancer is to my kids? So they were relatively young at that time. They were just kindergarten K2 and P2, primary 2. So they don't understand exactly what mommy is going through. So we had to reframe and tell them like, what's cancer about? Why am I going through this treatment? And how is mommy going to be able to still look after you? How can life still be quite normal, but yet not quite the same? And journeying it together.
When you deal with kids and then I mean, to me, it's like incredibly sad because you have to think about your own mortality, right? And then, with Samuel, you're also very young and, there's so much life ahead of you and with your own and your kids' life, right? Was there, like, how hard was it to stay positive and, and to think of life after cancer, actually? Yeah.
To me, I mean, to stay positive is really not an easy thing. Yeah, so when that time I'm diagnosed, right, so I told my friend, my family member, my loved one, my girlfriend, so they always, tell me that they keep motivating me, don't give up, Samuel, you are young, there's a chance, for you to recover, stay positive. Yeah, so when they send me like text messages, I cried. Yeah, because I just feel that I do not want to disappoint them. Yeah, and I take this very positively, but my tears just keep dropping.
This
Yeah.
is during when you go
When
for...
diagnosed,
Okay,
when diagnosed with it. Yeah, so they motivate me, and everything. So I tell myself that, I do not want to disappoint them, and I need to recover as soon as possible. So I did set a goal that within 1 year I need to be in remission.
Is that possible? Are you able to,
So
like...
apparently I did in 9 months. Yeah, so it really works. So my mind is very strong at that time. Yeah, so I set myself a goal, to be able to be in remission by end of the year.
So you were like mentally saying like,
Yeah.
I must beat it by this time.
Correct, yeah.
And you feel like that was the positive vibes that you were...
Yeah, correct. Yeah, the never say die spirit in me. Yeah, so as time goes by, or whatever doctor say, Samuel, please take this medicine or whatever, I'll just listen accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah. Hannah?
I found it was really hard to stay positive, but what kept me going was really my faith, my family. So I told myself that, I'm going to fight this out no matter what it is. Yeah, I do not know at the end of the day whether I will survive, but I'm going to fight it out. So as what Samuel mentioned, the mind over matter really works. More so of like, when you set yourself to saying that, hey, I'm going to go through this, and no matter how difficult it is, I'm going to look on the positive side. It makes a lot of difference. It makes a lot of difference because one of my friends told me, you take one step at a time, a day at a time. Don't think about 2 months later. It's too overwhelming. Just one day at a time. You wake up, you do what you can with what your body is responding to the treatment, and just move on. Just live life the best that you can each day. And I found it very helpful.
But was there ever a day where you thought, I can't do this? Like, you may not... I mean, being positive is very one thing, right? But then the reality is sometimes the chemo is hard.
Yes.
Did your hair drop?
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, I think for me, that's the hard part because you're so visual, right? That's the change, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So was there like a day where you remember where you just maybe, I can't do this, or like, I just need to give up, or the worst day of that journey? Do y'all remember?
I do have quite a few experience lah. Yeah, so usually, like I wake up usually in like maybe at 4 a.m. in the morning in the hospital. Yeah, sometimes I just wake up just automatically. Then I look out of the window, and then I will tear lah. Yeah, like it's just tear. It's not crying. It's just tear. I said, like, will I be able to recover or not? Yeah. So of course the negativity will still kick in. But usually when in front of my family, my friend, I tend to act strong. So I do have a friend who told me, that Samuel, we want you to stay strong. We do not want you to act strong. So one of my friend actually can see in me. So he said, if you want to cry, you just cry. Do not need to act strong, but you just tell yourself that that day by day, by staying strong, will get you to a faster remission. That will be all right. Yeah, correct.
Wow, I still remember. I think I had two like particular milestones in my journey. The first will be losing my hair. So I always felt it was so hard. Like, I told myself, the moment I lose my hair, I'm not stepping out of the house. I'm just going to stay here. But that doesn't work, right? So I had to learn to embrace my new looks, embrace like not having hair. It was hard when I had like, you start to see clumps like, on the pillow, on the floor. It came to a point I couldn't take it. I was like, okay, I need to shave this off. Yeah.
Because it was a lot, is it? Like everything kept coming out. Yeah.
So what happens is that I will just cry in the shower because I literally see so much falling as I wash. And then I remember there was one more, I just squatted down the toilet. I just couldn't take it. I was just crying, picking up the hair. I just had to pick up the hair. Someone had to clean up, right? So I had to pick up the hair.
I thought you were trying to save it, like,
No. Just pick it up to throw it away. But it's just that moment. It was very heart-wrenching. And I was like, what am I going to look like without hair? Yeah, but I felt a relief when I shaved it off and I embraced the bald look. So it was like, yeah, and I took up the courage to go out with my head, without any hat, nothing. So the first thing is that people will always look at you. And I've learned to look at them back and then I will just smile. Yeah, I just eyeball them back. And then you can see them like, oh, they don't want to look at you because they felt like, oh no, I got caught. Then I smile at them. And I felt very liberated myself because I've always been so like conscious about how are people going to think of me. I don't look pretty anymore, or like, oh, no, people think I'm a freak or whatever it is.
Was that the positive part about cancer? Like you got this confidence about like being in your skin?
Yes.
Okay.
That it really doesn't matter about how you look, Yeah. And then the second one was, I remember there was one time I just felt so sick during chemo. I was just lying down on my sofa. I couldn't get up. I just felt so sick. Like, I was like, oh no, something happened to me. Am I going to die? And I remember I was like, please, God, help me to feel better. Because I just couldn't get up. And I was like, should I call my doctor or what? And I just rested. And I think that was the sign for me because I like to be active, and despite going through chemo, I still like to be like doing things. So that was a clear sign for me to just lie down and rest. And that it's okay to rest in this season when your body is going through so much. Just rest. And rest is not a sign of weakness. Yeah.
How much of your everyday life changed? Like, because Hannah, you said you were active. Samuel, were you like also like meeting people, doing activities? Like, how did that change with cancer?
You mean doing?
Yeah, your day-to-day like activities. Yeah.
To me, because like what I say, like for immunotherapy, it's outpatient. So I will actually go for like I do exercise regularly. Yeah. So I did consult my doctor, to see that am I able to, for like brisk walking, or to breathe in fresh air. So the doctor encouraged me, you can do that, but just be very careful. And of course, the timing wise, don't, with too many people, because my immune system is very low during that period of time. Yeah, so usually I walk like in the morning, like maybe 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I wake up about 5:30, so I'll go my walk for about half an hour. Then after that, then I'll come back home to bathe and then to continue to rest. Yeah.
Huh?
Well, I love running. So I used to run a lot. And then I had to stop running because just my body just couldn't take it. So I switched to brisk walking. So when I can, I'll walk. But even walking was so tough. Like, I'll walk for 10, 15 minutes and I feel like, oh no, I don't feel well. I just need to go home. So it was very hard to accept that the body is no longer the same. I love to go crowded places. Like I like hang out.
Crowds, like
I like crowds. I like with people, hang out with friends. I had to go to like quiet places because when you're going through treatment, the immunity goes down. I had to stay home a lot more. Yeah, I remember I was spending like Christmas at home, and I was feeling really sad because I can't go out and have fun with friends. But I also realized that, like it made me pause, it made me slow down, it made me just be quiet and to think about, hey, what really matters in life, and learn to just be still and learn to be restful. It's something that I've learned in my journey.
What was life like on the job front and on the home front? So maybe, Samuel, because you had to leave your job, or from what I understand, you were actually navigating the loss of your job because you were made redundant, right?
Yeah,
in your
made
company.
redundant, correct.
And then you got the cancer diagnosis as well. Is
Concurrently.
at the same time?
At the same, so this news, right, about the loss of job is last year September. Yeah, so I'm still in my treatment.
Okay. So
in the
basically,
midst
you
of
got
it.
cancer
Yeah.
and then you were working through it, as in
Yeah.
you were still at work.
No, I'm not at work.
okay.
Yeah, I'll be on unpaid leave
Okay.
mm,
Okay.
for 6 months.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after that, and then you were made redundant.
Yeah, I made redundant. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got the all clear, and now you got to start looking for a new job.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
What was that whole like roller coaster?
Okay,
like?
so for me, I feel that I lost my job for that. I mean, I'm really very how do I say I mean, what does the company do for me? I mean, they can at least let me to be in their payroll for like 6 months. Usually some company, like if you are not able to perform your job, correct, then they will terminate your contract and then give you a 1 month of notice. Correct. Yeah. So for me, is that they still allow me to be being employed, for at least like for about 8 months. Yeah. Correct. So I mean, I do understand the company point of view. Yeah. So I accept the termination. Okay. Then after that, right? So during that moment, right? I actually upskill myself. I went for this course called the ACLP course. So basically, it's a trainer course. So this certification, right, is for those facilitator, who want to actually to facilitate class like for WSQ courses.
So when it came to finding another job,
Yeah.
and then do you have to like go for a medical or like disclose that you had cancer? What was that conversation with your prospective employers like?
Okay, so for me, right, that like what I shared, I went for the course for upskill. So it end on the 15 November. So I did start my job search from 15 November onwards. Okay. So during that time, right, I managed to get a job within 1 month. So you make a guess how many interviews did I go for? Interviews, not talking about resume sent out. You make a guess within 1 month.
10.
10. Okay, Hannah, make a guess.
Oh, I know the answer already.
You know the answer.
Okay, pretend a bit.
Okay, so applied 30 interviews.
30?
Yeah, 30
In 1 month?
in 1 month.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah, so
tiring.
you need to exclude the weekends. Because usually interview won't have on weekends. Yeah.
That's one a day, right?
At least 1 a day, 1 to 2 a day. Some days that might be a bit more, like 3 or 4. Yeah.
And you sent out how many resumes?
More than 300, 400 resumes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Correct.
But so when you say that you had to do these many interviews, did you disclose to them that you had cancer? Did you think that your cancer diagnosis played
so before I went for interview, I did seek help from SCS. So there is this in charge.
SCS is Singapore Cancer Society,
Singapore
right?
Cancer Society, correct. So there's this in charge. His name is Jason. So he's the one who in charge of the back to work program. Yeah. So I do ask him, can you, give me some guidance or some advice? When do I disclose to my future employer during the interview regarding about my condition? Yeah. So so he did give me some advice. Then from there, I did seek some help from E2I also.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you kind of like had all the resources that you kind of knew to like pull.
Yeah, so that I can make my own judgment, So for me, I realized that it's always good to disclose at the back of the interview, like when the end of the interview. Yeah, so for me, I only disclose when I feel comfortable with the employer.
Yeah.
Then I will disclose. Then if not, then I won't disclose.
How did your current employer take the news?
Apparently my superior, right, is the finance controller of the company. So I report to him. Yeah, because I'm the only HR in charge for this company. Yeah, so he take it very positively, and then he feel that cancer doesn't mean anything. It doesn't define your skills. It doesn't define your potential. Yeah, so he's totally cool about it. Yeah,
that's kind of a cool thing to say, actually. Yeah,
correct. Yeah, so I really appreciate that he give me this chance to actually to prove to him that I do have the necessary skill set to be able to value add to the company. Yeah, correct.
So Hannah, for you, it was 2 back-to-back difficult situations. You described it a different way earlier, but as you mentioned, you lost a baby before you got cancer, right? And they were in very close succession to each other.
Yes.
What was your outlook on life then? And what's your outlook on life now? Like, do you worry that, you will be hit with something major again? And then, how do you deal with that? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very normal to worry about what's going to happen next. My greatest fear when I went into remission was, will I get cancer again? Because I hear stories of how it happens again to you. And I went through last year. It's a great struggle. I was afraid, will I get cancer? Each time I go to see the doctor, when I go for the checkup, there's a lot of anxiety. But I think I have come to a point where I processed it, and I've learned to just fully trust in God that He knows what's going to happen. And I can't control the future, but I can control and how I respond in the present. So how it has affected my outlook in life, I learned to focus on what's really important, prioritizing. So family, people around you are very important. I make time more for people now. Yeah, relationships is something that I treasure a lot. And with my family as well, with my kids, learning to teach them about life, learning to teach them about how do we overcome adversity is something that I really invest my energy and time into.
Did your cancer diagnosis have any impact on your kids? Because they saw, they had a sibling, they lost a sibling, right?
Yes.
And then now they have a mom who was
Yes,
sick.
yes.
What was that like on them?
So I think my kids grew so much. So they took it as what they knew at that age. So we had to explain to them what cancer is. I had a friend who went to order many, many books about cancer for kids. And then it came to my doorstep, and then they were just reading about it. And one of them was called Cancer Party. I was like, wow, what's Cancer Party all about? It talked about how the cells in your body starts to, rebel against each other. And then there's a party that you do not want going on, and everything's goes up.
It's
and I really
count me out of this party.
Yeah, I know, right? But I love that illustration, and it really helped them to understand what mommy's going through. I think one thing I really struggled was how do I, and for those who are moms and have going through treatment, one thing I struggled a lot was mom guilt.
In what sense?
Yeah, mom guilt. That I wasn't able to perform my role as a mom to take care of them. Mm-hmm. And in fact, I needed their help when they're so young. Yeah, I still remember one particular incident at home. So my younger one, she was 6 at that time. She wants to play like Monopoly Junior. So we're just sitting at the dining table, and then I think, okay, mommy can play with you. But 15 minutes into the game, I felt really unwell. I just I say, hey, mommy needs to go and lie down on the sofa. So I went to lie down on the sofa. I said, I'm so sorry, I can't continue the game. And you know what she did? She says, okay, mommy, I will play for you. So what she did was that she rolled the dice, and then she played her turn. And after that, she went to my seat, and then she rolled the dice and she played her turn. But that completely broke me, because I remember I was just sitting there looking at her, and I just started to cry. And I don't know how to see me crying, but I was just crying because I felt like, what a horrible mom am I?
Because I
can't even play a game with my daughter. And then, so that mom guilt was a very real thing. And I struggled through it, and I realized that, as a mom, you don't have to feel guilty with what you're going through. You don't have to feel obliged that you have to be there 24/7 for them. Because through that experience, I saw how she took, she was very creative in playing. And she learned how to look after mommy in a different way. And it was a good experience. Yeah.
So you've had this event happen to you, right? Cancer. And people know that both of you, when you tell your friends, or even like when people see you on the street without your hair, or they see you in the hospital, right? They know you have cancer. Yeah. Do you think that you are okay with it being part of your identity and part of your story, or would you rather not be defined by it? Yeah.
I think it's so important to continue to have that identity that I'm a cancer survivor, because the day I forget is the day I forget the experiences and what I have learned through it, because it has shaped me as a person. It's shaped me to be more resilient. It has shaped my outlook in life. And I'm not ashamed of it. And I think I will want to continue to speak about it and to share my story with other people going through cancer, that there's so much hope.
Interesting you said shame. Do you think people get shame around cancer? If
some people might. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure what you think.
For me, I feel that, I'm proud to have this identity, I can say, to be a cancer survivor. Yeah, because, based on my experience last year, my cancer journey, right, it really made me to become more stronger in terms of mindset, and then there's nothing that can stop me. Yeah. So I can say that if I want to set a goal, I will be hungry for the goal. Means that I will try my way, my resources to go and get towards my goal. Yeah, and I'm proud, to tell people that I'm a cancer survivor. Yeah. And then of course to share my stories with anyone, maybe they wouldn't be able to get, maybe some of them still don't get a job, but I can actually guide them accordingly to give my advice, like
You are the trainer for the trainer. Living up to it.
yeah, living up to it. Yeah, so I can give my advice, my stories, my to actually to motivate them. Yeah, correct. So I feel that I'm very proud to have this identity. Yeah.
Was there something a goal that each of you had set that you couldn't do maybe because you had cancer, or it's like, when I get the, all clear, I'm going to do this. Was there something?
For me is that, like I tell myself, after remission, my goal is to actually to travel. Yeah. So me and my girlfriend, we are making plans, to go for a holiday in May.
Are you going to
Because my
Japan?
birthday is in May. Yeah, so
Are you going to Japan?
no, maybe Bangkok. Yeah, because she didn't go
Okay.
Bangkok before.
Okay.
Yeah, so I went there a few times before. Yeah, when I diagnosed. Yeah, so I like bring her around the place. Yeah.
And make new memories. Post-cancer.
Yeah, create new memories. Yeah, correct.
Hannah, for you?
For me, I'm actually exploring about what I'm going to do. Like, I intend to go and study and find a job when my kids are growing older. I wish to do that. Another thing is making more memories with my family. So we have done a few more travels. Yeah, and it's been very fulfilling. Just exploring the world, seeing our kids grow through each experience.
That's nice and sweet. Hannah, Samuel, thank you very much for sharing your stories. I know it must not have been easy to go through cancer and come out of it better, right, with all your experiences. So that's it from The Usual Place. Now, if this episode resonated with you, or if you know someone who will appreciate this conversation, share it with them so that we can keep the conversation going. Now, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, like, subscribe, or hit the notification bell to get fresh content. Now, you can also catch The Usual Place on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or on the ST app. I'll see you next time.